Hello, Alliance Tenenbaum Tech scholars. This is Miss Dang here with another tech tip. This is specifically for my scholars using Chromebooks, so sophomores, juniors, and seniors. And today we are going to talk about how to write an email. So I know you're probably thinking in your head, I already know this. I don't need to watch this. However, you'd be surprised how many emails that your teachers, myself included, get that don't follow email etiquette. So, especially for my juniors and seniors, I personally think it's super important that you know what your email comes across as and that you fill out all the boxes and such that you need to fill out correctly. And maybe there are some features or some buttons that you're like, what are these that I could hopefully teach you. So I'm going to start with me, obviously, opening my email. So you can either, when you're on Google, obviously click on the Gmail account or this Rubik's Cube thing and click on Gmail. As soon as that opens, obviously your mailbox should look something like this, probably a lot cleaner than what my mailbox looks like. But in any case, go ahead and click on the Compose button. On the bottom right-hand corner where my face used to be, you should have a message box that opens, and that should be the place where you could upload, or I'm sorry, type in your email. So just so that you're aware, email is one method of communication that you could have with your teachers. You also have Google Hangouts, Google Voice, Zoom, whatever floats your boat with that. But assumingly, email is used for not so time sensitive issues. So if it's an issue or a question that you're okay with waiting on, you don't need immediate help with, email is your best place to go. So I'm going to pretend I'm in a student in the distance learning advisory, and I will find the massive office hours chart that Miss Soto linked before. This is just so that you are aware of what teachers' contact information you're looking for. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to pretend I'm a junior in Mr. Bartlett's history class. So notice that here's this info right here. I'm going to copy that email address. And I'm going to put my email. I'm going to write my email right now. So obviously copy and paste the email address. Notice you may see these buttons called CC and BCC. For the sake of your own use, CC is basically used if you want to copy, it stands for carbon copy, if you want to copy another email recipient onto this message, even though they're not the direct recipient. So let's say, for example, if you were in advisory back at school, sometimes you may have done grade checks or you're on a tutoring contract or something. So maybe it's a good idea to include your advisory teacher. So I'll pretend that Mr. Kim is my advisory teacher. And so even though he's not the direct recipient, if you decide to copy on him, he will also receive the same email that Mr. Bartlett does. Okay. So this is important. A lot of you guys actually don't use this properly. But it's important to put a subject in the subject line, and it's just what it is. You write a very brief phrase or explanation of what your email is going to contain. Some of you write your whole message in this, and that's not how you do it. So since I'm a junior in Mr. Bartlett's history class, I'm going to say U.S. history assignment on 1920s. Because that's the only period I'm really familiar with. Actually, I'm gonna put question on U.S. history assignment. Okay, so always start with a greeting. So, dear Mr. Bartlett, hello, Mr. Bartlett. But in any case, make sure you start with a greeting. Come off as polite. I have a question on the TDQs for the 1920s. I am stuck on the question about flappers and prohibition. Could you please rephrase the question in a way that I can better understand? Something like that. Okay. Notice here that I have my signature here already, but I'm going to pretend that I don't have that. I'm going to pretend I'm like you guys. So in order to end your email, you always want to write something like sincerely or thank you for your time. Hope to hear from you soon, something like that. So I'm going to put my, just put sincerely, sign my student name. And for his reference, I'll put the period I'm contacting from. And I know this seems like a no-brainer or like a, what's the point of this? But in an email signature, it's important to write your name, and some method of contact, so that way your reader knows how to contact you if for some reason they deleted your email address or something by accident. Okay. Before I press send, I want to go over some features that you may not use or you may not know how to use. So obviously, for example, this is all functionality you can use in Google Docs. But let's say, for example, you really want to emphasize and allow Mr. Bartlett like focus on what your question is on. So I can bold it, I can italicize it or underline it, so that way he knows what I'm asking for. Notice here, you could there's that paperclip, you can attach files. So let's say you downloaded Mr. Bartlett's homework on a PDF or a file outside of a Google Doc. Just for the sake of example, I'm just going to attach this, especially since you guys are working on Chromebooks. Most of your documents are going to pop up in the downloads folder. So go ahead and click on that, open, and then the document that you're attaching will pop up in the bottom of your email. You could also attach links. So let's say, Mr. Bartlett, you sent us this YouTube video. I can't open it. Can you help me out? You could copy and paste the YouTube link down here, and it should appear in your message. Emojis, don't go too crazy on that, please. This is really cool, in my opinion. Obviously, that's the Google Drive symbol. So let's say for Mr. Bartlett's assignments, you've been working on a Google Doc, and you were working on it for like the last 10 minutes. So you can go to recent and click on the most recent document or whatever recent work you were working on and see if Mr. Bartlett can just click on your document right away and go from there. So it's very convenient both for you and for your teachers. And obviously, this is like if you want to insert a photo, like Mr. Bartlett, I'm having trouble with answering this DBQ because I can't see it. Could you please help me out with that? So that's just an example here. And then once you're done, you could press send. Let's say, for example, oh crap, I forgot to include something in my message. So as you can see here, you could press undo and it will cancel your message being sent. And you could pop up with that email and fix it right away before you actually send it. So one more thing I want to show you guys that you might find helpful is you may have noticed that I put an email signature in my original email. So I can show you guys how to make your own. So if you click on this wheel and go to settings, it'll automatically take you to this whole mess of tabs. Don't worry about them. It'll take you to the general tab, and all you need to do is scroll all the way down until you find the signature section. And this will always pop up at the end of your emails. So you may notice if you get emails from me, I rarely use sincerely because all my information is right there. However, again, just pretend like I'm a student. You guys have the default of no signature. If you want to add your signature, it's important to write something like just something very simple and straightforward. So sincerely, as I mentioned, period. Or actually, no. For this case, maybe I could put like class of 2021 since I'm a junior, and then you could add what period you're calling, you're answering from, emailing from in your email later. And then you could put in the email address you prefer to be emailed to, phone number, Instagram handle, or no, maybe I'm creepy with saying that. But in any case, that's an example of how you could add your signature. If you choose to do that, please make sure to scroll all the way down and press Save Changes. So that way that'll appear once you start sending emails. So hopefully you found this video useful. Maybe you learned a couple things, or maybe you were refreshed with them. But in any case, we hope that you follow through with these guidelines so that way you get you come off as more professional to your teachers. It's super important to do that not only here in school, but also in college. And ultimately, if you get a job and it's email heavy, that's important too. So although email is one way to contact us and reach out for help, don't forget we're all available through office hours, Google Hangouts, Google Voice. I can go on, and hopefully you all know. But anyway, good luck with all your assignments. We look forward to hearing from you. Bye, guys.